I think we can all agree that companies make too many mistakes and errors in healthcare, manufacturing, billing, adjustments, computers. Wouldn't it be nice if they didn't? Meet Sarah. Sarah has a landscaping business, and her business is booming. She's got residential customers and corporate customers and government customers, and all of her people are really doing well, making good money. But Sarah has a problem. She's barely getting by. Her income barely exceeds her expenses. And so she's trying to figure out what's wrong with this picture. So she either has to increase her income, but she's got so much business now she doesn't know what to do with it, or she has to decrease expenses. Now, fortunately, Sarah has a friend named Adrian who helped her start to look at her business. And it turned out that Sarah was buying lots of plants, but she wasn't billing for all of them. And that was leaving her in a lurch because she had too much money that she wasn't getting back from customers. And she admitted that she liked to put a little bit extra flowers here and there, but then she'd forget to bill for them. So she had two problems. One, she wasn't billing, and two, she wasn't estimating properly. So she built a little tracking template in Excel to start to track how many flowers and trees and sod and whatever she was starting to put in. And then she started to match up and make sure that the amount she was buying was the amount she was billing. And her customers were thrilled to pay a little extra to get this special treatment. So that helped Sarah increase her profits. So then she turned her attention to decreasing expenses. And when she looked at it, her number one problem was replacing plants that died. And so she went out and started looking. Where did she get the plants that were dying? Well, one supplier had 3 times as many dead plants as the other suppliers. And so as she started to eliminate supplier number 1 and shift more of her business to suppliers 2 and 3, of course she got a better deal, and she didn't have as many dead plants. So that allowed her to decrease expenses because she could buy more cheaply, and she didn't have this replacement problem. And it didn't cost her extra to have all of her people go back and rework these plants. Now let's turn our attention to manufacturing. John makes nuts and bolts in different sizes. And some are too big, some are too small, but most of them are just right. But the problem is the too big and too small are what are called scrap. He has to throw them back in the furnace and make them again. And so he loses a lot of money on this either end of this. So what he had to do was start to find ways to adjust his machines so that he stopped making things that were too big and too small, so that he could get everything built within the specifications his customers demanded. And of course, when he did that, his profits soared as well because he had less waste and rework. So you can be like Sarah and John. All you have to do is learn some simple tools of Six Sigma. So first you start by keeping score. How much are you spending? How much are you buying? All of these kinds of things. Track your preventable delays, defects, and deviation. That's variability. You know, for John it was too big or too small. Analyze the data. And from there, make improvements. And that's the Six Sigma process. First you start when there's a problem, and you literally focus on what the problem really is. You can't fix everything, so just fix a few things. Make your improvements. Sustain the improvement, because of course if you don't put processes in place to make sure you sustain this new level of improvement, you'll just fall back the old way you did it. Honor your progress and continue. Now in Six Sigma, this is called DMAIC, for define and measure, analyze and improve, and then control the improvement. But I found that this simple acronym FISH, focus, improve, sustain, and honor, helps people remember Six Sigma.